Naruto 655, your comments. A couple of quick things. You can make much larger comments now. You simply hit the expand button to read them, but they can be huge. You can do a lot of text in one block now, so you don't have to break them up the way people were doing. You don't have to do that. The next thing I'll bring up, which I actually brought up last time, is that reading your comments, the times at least were correct. If somebody added on to it, then it would be different. That was confusing. But now the times are just, it's almost random. One day, 18 hours, 15, 23. One day, 18, 16, 15, 23 hours. One day. So if you see that I'm reading these things out of order, this time I finally have a legitimate excuse. So it's just completely crazy jumbled up. All right, let's get started. G. Gorsey's got a couple of comments. All right, last chapter when I saw Obitos stand up, I say at least we're done with him. But here we see that he is still alive. How can he be alive? I mean, the 10 tails was removed from him, so how can he be alive? And it's true that Kakashi lost more loved ones than Obito. It is not enough excuse that he did all this for Rin. It's not enough. But can't wait for Madara and Orochimaru. Yeah, we've got so much good stuff. The thing is when you do hit a bad point here, Kishi's got so much more good stuff for us. And G. Gorsey's second comment. I don't like that Obito started this war over a girl. I mean, he wasn't after peace like Nagato. I don't think Obito, one thing he says in Peace of the Ninja World kind of mangled that. But what the hell? We're done with him. Anyway, hopefully. Right, now the only way for Obito to redeem himself in some way as a character is to sacrifice his life, which is what I think is going to happen. For the ninja way, for Obito to redeem himself in some way as a character, is to sacrifice his life in Ninja World to mess up Madara's plan, but I think he can't do anything that way now. I mean, what can he do to mess up Madara's plan? What can he do now when he doesn't have any Bijou power? Well, if Obito holds on to the Darth Vader story, he will sacrifice himself. He will do something to help, and then you will get to see happy little Obito's spirit and Rin and all the rest of them, or what have you. So we will see. George G. Gorsey, I really do appreciate your comments. A. Ishmael. So I take it Hachabi was happy to see his siblings while Ichibi is putting his trust in Naruto. Sasuke, with his murderous intentions, any threat will be neutralized. So Minato is now part of Naruto too. Where are the Bijous as the alliance moved together toward Madara? I'm happy Obito came to terms with his true emotions and finally admit he was walking in Madara's shoes. Well, anyway, I'm not. There's still more dialogue with Obito, unfortunately, but I still, like I said, I would have liked to have seen more dialogue with the Bijous in Naruto, which other people in comment sections also mentioned, and still to understand more what we know, the prophecy, they're going to get transformed into something else, but how they're going to be used now, which is kind of important. So I'd really like to kind of see how that works now. So, but then again, you have a lot of power with you. I mean, that's going to be. I guess that's something that having that many freaking tailed beasts. You've got all the tailed beasts, on your side. It's pretty darn strong. All right, appreciate it, ASML. Your comments. Comment Bob 9. I'm going to go ahead and expand your comments because you have more comments, which is awesome. You can keep typing. I always appreciate your comments. Sai, still waiting for Madara. I was hoping to see him this week. And for last chapter to be the last full one dedicated to talk no jutsu. I kind of like it that Kakashi who finished the talk Nujitsu. That was good. Bringing him back in was brilliant, I thought. Because, that was my words, and then back, because Juby knows that he pulls it off way better than Naruto. But all these barrages of friendship speeches is making me think that Kishimoto's starting to take some advice from Hiro Mashima from Fairy Tail. And that is the last mangaka that you want to take advice from. Didn't like Minato's statement that maybe the spirit of Rin had something to do with bringing them all together. That was lame. Let's hope that the action really does return for the next chapter. There should be more dead people. Yeah, there should be more dead people and less talk of Rin. Good points. Conley Bob 9. Some good stuff in there. Friendship speeches, barrages of them. Love it. Alright, Janisaur, finally a good chapter. The way Kakashi intervened out of nowhere was badass. He looked so chilling with the Jonin jacket open. LOL. For the first time, I was actually interested in what Obito had to say. I love the fact that Kakashi was prepared to kill his best friend and had no qualms about it. Naruto should take notes. Well, I mean, let's be honest. Kakashi was the Sasuke character, okay? And Obito was the Naruto character. And so, what was it? Kakashi is a better form of Sasuke, and Obito is a shittier form of Naruto. So there you go. There you are. Janisaur, appreciate the comments. Alright, good stuff. Another G. Gorsey, short one. LOL, there are a lot of fans that want or wish that Obito's dead after Juby removed from him. But we can't do anything. Only Kishi can do that from what he wants with Obito's character. Appreciate it. Tyler Johnson. Let me go ahead and expand this comment. Man, there we go. Although I do like the expanded comments, I understand that you can also put links in them. I would strongly urge everyone to be very careful on clicking on links, which you already know. You probably didn't need me to say that, so we will just move on. Alright. People can do that. Alright. Although I am tired of hearing about Rin, I did like hearing things from Kakashi, his perspectives. The whole time he has been dealing with grief as well. He lost his mentor, the two people that were closest to him, and has been looking for the same answers in his life that Obito has in his. In the end, I think what Kakashi was trying to tell Obito is that at the end, he couldn't find out himself whose ideals were right or wrong, but that seeing Naruto went through and overcame gave him hope to face reality and overcome obstacles in his life. Always like Kakashi as a ninja and as a character, and his individual relationships with Sasuke and Naruto are very interesting. He's a hell of a character. He is a hell of a character. And going way, way back, that Kakashi was just, he had a, from what I remember from Kishi, was saying that this was just kind of a random character, and he was kind of, he didn't have that much of an idea for him, and then he ends up being such an awesome character. So, yeah, awesome. Appreciate your comments. Hey, Ismail. Sasuke's going after Obito was predictable, but I was hoping for Naruto to help Obito out, being that he did snap him out of nonsense. That said, I was happy to see Kakashi come back from the Null Void. It was good to see him wanting to carry out Obito's death and claiming it as his responsibility. A part of me would have liked to see him go through with it, but I understand that the need for Minato to come in and stop him. What I liked about this is it saved us. Everyone wants, let's just admit it, we all want to see Naruto and Sasuke fight. Everyone wants to see this happen. The fan base wants to see this. What this does is it saves us from seeing conflict right now between Naruto and Sasuke, because Sasuke isn't going to listen to him. Naruto, you've already seen it. He isn't going to listen. Okay, but when Kakashi came down, he had to stop. and see, you know, I'm sure he's a lot more powerful than Kakashi, even now with Kakashi's powers. But still, he's, so, you know, this is somebody you would have to deal with, not just rush into. And then Minato coming down to deal with the situation himself. Like I say, it kept them on the outside of it. And finally, Minato was able to do something which, you know, make a bigger impact on Obito and to try to save his... So it made sense to try to save this kid, you know, which we already know he feels a lot of guilt for. And so everybody did the right thing. Kakashi was like, you know what, I'm going to clean up this mess and get rid of this guy, you know. It was just good. It was an awesome deal. All right, really do appreciate your comment. Bob9, my main concern right now is, this is your second comment, but like I said, you can put them all under one comment now, and it'll just hit the expand, and I can just read the whole text. Or you can just do it this way. It's cool. My main concern right now is how Kishi deals with Madara. Yes, that is big. And Rampage knows how I feel about the Big M. I still think that he's going to pull off something big. I don't know what he's going to do, really, because the Bijous are all extracted and returned to their forms. But again, he seems way too confident in his abilities to stop Obito and complete the plan. So sealing him shouldn't be easy, even with Hashirama there. You know what? I want to see Infinite Tsukiyami. Why? Because it's been hyped up for so many years, so let's see it happen. Awesome points. Janisorf, notice what Kishi said to Sasuke. We'll talk later. That really intrigued me. It's probably nothing, but I have a sneaky feeling that they will have some sort of confrontation sooner or later. Yeah, I think Kakashi's... Well, we've seen him getting powered up, and he's ready. Kakashi's ready to clear the field. I mean, let's just admit it. He's freaking ready to you know, to clean up his mess. And I think he looks at Sasuke as a big mess. He's like, I'll take care of I'll eliminate my ex-teammate if I have to. I will. And my ex-student that went rotten, I'll get rid of him too. I'm sick of it. Bam. Kakashi. Mr. Marcus. Appreciate your comments, by the way. Listen, I never liked the way Kishimoto basically threw Rin and Obito storyline into play in the first place. You and the entire fan base for this. Secondly, I don't want to believe this, but it seems like Madara is really not going to get involved in this war. And the last panel showed Naruto meeting up with Madara and Hashirama, but no one's fighting at all. It would seem crazy in him if the first Hokage are joking and talking about the good old days. And that is so the case, then the last villain could be Orochimaru or Sasuke. And anyway, I hope Kishimoto would wrap this up or stop stalling for time and start the next arc, and I truly believe he's doing great. I believe that's what he's doing. Great review, Steve. All right, appreciate it, Mr. Marcus. And yeah, I don't know. That would be kind of disappointing. I'd like to see a fight, but I don't know. Like I say, everyone knows. I want to see Orochimaru take over Sasuke's body and be the final villain that way. I want to see that bad, and I think that I'm a real minority in that. So no, most people don't want to see that, but I do. I don't care. Anyway, that's my opinion. Really appreciate your comments. DT Ninja 831. It seems Madara activated something, or Naruto wouldn't have been so desperate in pulling out his Uden Renshuriken like that. Like how he left that open, like we know it's Madara, but he's off panel. Can't wait to see what he did. What if Madara has noticed the Shinju is reacting and it's about to bloom? Something crazy is about to go down. Great review, by the way, Steve. I appreciate it. Really do, DT Ninja 831. So, yeah. So we still... I'm confused on this. We still have the actual flower, my understanding. So, but anyway, so we'll find out. So there's a lot of possibilities here. All right, continuing on, and appreciate your comments, of course. Tyler Johnson, I don't know how Madara is going to get the upper hand in this battle. Even though it seems Naruto has depleted the Kyuubi chakra and is in his base mode, the tailed beasts still have the option of lending him the majority of their chakra. That's a really good point. And we've seen that he's a complete master of funneling and receiving and transmuting chakras. He can get all his chakra and go, oh, you need this individual stuff? I can transmute it to what you can use. Which is insane. Which is insane for Naruto's potential. So he just needs a power source. He can, I'm like a transformer. There you are. He's a power supply. You can put anything in and, yeah, okay. All the Hokages are there, and now that Obito is defeated, Hashirama can disperse his clones and focus all his chakra on Madara. Not mentioning the fact that the Shinobi Alliance will be joining his fight, and possibly Obito as well. Madara must have one hell of a trump card. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that, you know, he is outgunned, but I mean, well, anyway, what's his goals now? Have they changed? I mean, is it, like I say, is it too late for his trump card that people mention, or I don't know. We'll have to see. Appreciate your comments. A. Ishmael. Excuse me. I failed to see any reason why Obito should have been spared, and I expected better from Minato. Naruto, I could have understood that being just who he is, but Minato's professional ninja, he should have known how dangerous Obito alive is, and he tried to kill Obito earlier, that was the only thing that I took from it. I was like, you tried to kill Obito earlier, now you're trying to. Anyway, for a chapter filled with talking, it was emotional enough to keep me somewhat interested, and I really liked how the Bijus recognized that Naruto kept his promise and saved them. And that's big, isn't it? That is huge. And that's another reason I wish there would have been more discussion on that and less Ren. Don't actually recall when Kakashi could have learned that Sasuke was back to being the good, though. Anyway, an alright chapter. I don't know. I don't see... I've never seen... good Sasuke I don't see. Don't see good Sasuke. I see gray and dark. And that's it. G. Gorsey. I've read many times from 6:30 to 6:55. Just terrible. The manga has been dragging of late, and this is just another chapter, one we do not need to rehash everything. Yes, everyone has said that the dean died. The solution for the curse is to start a war that has already killed more than 40,000 other people. But I guess if they are no-name extras, they do not really count. It's pretty good. And Sonati adds on to your comment. It's a shame. The manga started strong for the first half of the year after Sakura's ass pull of a power boost, but it was just one thing after another and lots of unnecessary Ren flashbacks and mentions. Yeah. I'm going to say what I already said before. I believe it was about 2 chapters ago. It wasn't until 2 chapters ago, I believe, that 2 or 3, but I think it was just 2, that Kishi actually gave us a picture or an image of how important Ren was to Obito. And when people, I'm not a writer, okay, but when people, what I've heard, what writers are supposed to do is you don't tell someone something. You don't say, hey, Ren is important to Obito. You have to show that they are. And a few chapters back, he finally showed us that instead of just, I like you, a girl that I like died. That's how we felt before. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, wait a minute. She buys in, she likes me, but she buys in. It was really more about, I want to be a good guy, I want to be Hokage. And she bought into that. She's like, I'm going to help you do that. And that and the whole family thing and all that put together went, wow, okay, I can see that. He's getting all this hell from Kakashi. So then it was seen. But geez, that should have happened a long time ago. And then 95% of all the Ren mentions or stuff, flashbacks, shouldn't have happened. He should have went right. Now here I'm telling somebody that's got 1 million times more skills in this than I do, at least, or if not 1 billion or a trillion. But in this, he was wrong. He should have had this done originally, and not so many. And that way, we would just go, "Oh, okay, I can see she was important." It wasn't just like a girlfriend or, killing him over a teenage crush or something or whatever. Feels like the millionth time I've said that. Anyway, moving on. Appreciate your comments. And let's see. Hermes Johannes, LL, noob Uchihas are sensitive. Yes, they are. And Sage Blue 92, Kakashi said Naruto might fail. Would be interesting if he did. I wouldn't doubt it that he does fail. But I mean, it's the thing is if you fail when your friends are backing you up, then you got more shots at it. So he may get to a point to where he takes it as far as he can, and then we see the Sage of the Sixth Path come back in some form or whatever. Or maybe even his mother, the one that actually got the fruit, she might come back. And so Naruto might take it as far as he can and falter, but it's far enough. Alright, moving on. Appreciate your comments. Ferez Tahir, well, I could still watch Naruto shipping in anime till we're done on break. Also, if Google Plus was the cause of Ren's death, it would have happened years ago. Now, I used the joke about Ren's death as a bad joke example, and then I went and explained how Ren was like a bad joke that he kept telling. So it was just really, it was an example of a bad joke. All right, moving on. Appreciate your comment. Michael Gethman, I can't wait to see Naruto battle Madara. But you are right. If Kishi screws this up and Naruto gets to take down Madara easily, a lot of people will be angered. I'm going to stop here, and I said it, Michael Gethman just said it, and you know it. The fan base are going to go nuts. They're going to go nuts. They're like, oh, Madara's sealed. First panel, next chapter. You're going to go crazy. It's just going to go, it's going to be crazy. Continuing on. I like how Minato was the voice of reason this week, saying enough talk of no Jitsu Naruto. Go help Hashirama. If Kishi does the next part of the story right, then every Naruto fan will be happy. And we are still waiting for Madara's trump card. And maybe Kishi does need a break to focus on how he will use Madara's character to finish up the war. Well, by break, I hope that it was, I left a link. I try not to, and I make sure this is a link that I copied. So, but it's always a risk, of course, it clicks onto something. But the issue of the beginning of the year for the magazine that Naruto's in, okay, the Jump magazine, is the first issue is, they do 48 issues, and the first issue, for whatever reason, will be at the end of November. That'll be issue 1 of the next 48 issues, right, of Shonen Jump. So that's what it was talking about, not, and it's, maybe I'm, misunderstanding the end of what you're saying, but just to clarify so everybody knows, it's not, we're going to get a week off, and then we'll get, the next chapter, and they'll keep going, and unless there's more breaks, but I mean, yeah. Okay, moving on. And let's see, we got a few stuff there. Appreciate your comments. Ricardo Rodriguez. I agree with you, Rampage. The Ren thing is the weakest point of the entire series. It doesn't make any sense for an adult to do all kinds of wrongs for a person you had a crush on when you were a teenager. In my opinion, the death of Ren should have made Obito a more mature person. One that would, wow, you made a lot of comments. But that's awesome. I will continue to read them. And you get some stuff at the end. All right. And let me get back. Ren should have made Obito a more mature person. One who would have never take loved ones from others since he experienced it at first hand. Right? He experienced pain, so he should understand it in others. Obito's logic is one from a boy, not a man. Perhaps we cannot put it into perspective or relate to all of this because we are not Japanese. Japanese people are far more introverted, are raised very specific moral rules and have what we Westerners would consider an overly complex social love dynamics. So despite most of us considering this as a terrible writing, I think we must be missing something, because this plot has been going on for almost a year. So I bet it makes sense for someone, because someone is supporting Kishi by actually buying the chapters, tons of them, for this nonsense to go on all this time. I want to go on to your main thing here. It is a different culture. And what's rich for us is two things. Well, a lot of things, but two things I want to bring up is because it's something different. It's interesting to us because they are coming at things at a different angle. And yes, we're going to miss things. It's just going to happen. So, this is true. However, the second thing I want to bring up is some things are from, because Western society has changed. I'm an older person, I'm 47. I'll be hitting 48 by the end of the year if I live. And actually not that far away. So the family in Western society has, not everybody's family, but the overall culture doesn't think much of families anymore. Okay, it's gone to just negative territory. And in Japan, and I realize people are going to go, well, wait a minute, they're having things where they're not, okay. It's, even though things are changing in Japan, there's still, their overall culture, okay, is still pro-family, right? So, just a few other things to get, confused there. So the culture is still overall pro-family. In the Western society, it isn't. They couldn't care less. It's all about the individual, which is really sad, actually, to be perfectly honest. There's too much about the individual and not enough about, the family and everything. So that's something that's been lost in the West and is still more or less preserved. Although, as I'm sure some people are knowledgeable about things that are going on in Japan, that is having its problems too. All right, moving on. More comment to read. Anyway, the whole Ren thing could have been a little bit less nonsensical with some minor adjustments. A, Ren, okay, I like this. I like the way you got this organized. I think we're missing a number. Okay, anyway. A, Ren, besides being his crush, took care of him after he lost his family, becoming his new family. The family connection, and she was a supporter. It wasn't a crush. Okay, that was more. There was that love thing, but it wasn't just love like a crush. It was love like family. It was love like someone that believes in me. There's way more powerful than that. And then we go to C. B didn't happen. So, emphasize that Ren's death only inspired Obito to look for a world where no one would have to do that. So the Hogen Gitsu plan sounds like a winner. D. Remove all of the unnecessary Ren flashbacks with romantic inclinations that make them more about Ren being something meaningful, which is what I'm talking about, which happened a few chapters ago. At least it happened for me when I saw it. Again, she was in his only family. Right. It's a very good point. I like these the most so far. E. Obito almost no killing and feeling troubled about it, making an older and bitter Madara to do all that. So Obito's change of heart doesn't look so out of place. Well, maybe it's this will of Madara or something that was implanted in him. That kind of stuff. That would at least we could understand where this Madara's evil thing is coming from in him, right? That would have made more sense. So I like E2. I like that the damage done to this series is way too big for someone to salvage the plot at this point. But if Kishi just tried a little bit, most of us wouldn't be feeling completely disappointed for all the love and time we have invested in the series. Wow, very well said. I really do appreciate it. I would have to say I really agree with a lot of what you said. The Obito thing is still probably my biggest single disappointment in the whole series. But you laid out some good stuff. I still like the series. For me, there's enough. There's a lot more good than bad in it. So, and I just basically dropped Fairy Tail. I stopped reviewing it and stopped. I don't even. I think I missed the last 2 chapters and I just don't care anymore. I got to the point, so I just dropped something I wasn't having fun with anymore. But Naruto, there's still so much good stuff in it, so I wouldn't go as far as kind of what you're saying at the end, completely disappointed. I mean, if you do feel that way, then that's fine. I just want to say that I definitely don't feel completely disappointed. There's some things in there, but there are definitely a lot more things I appreciate. All right, Ricardo Rodriguez, really do appreciate it. Conley Bob 9, your number 3 comment. And once again, Conley Bob 9, you can make big comments now, all in one box. All right. In this chapter, I like that even Minato was making fun of Naruto's talk no jutsu, saying that he gets it from his mother. It was also glad to see Sasuke's resolve and attempting to kill Obito, who is, after all, one of the masterminds behind the Uchiha massacre. Another sign that he and Naruto are far from seeing eye to eye just yet. But for the most part, this chapter was unappealing, by the way. Am relieved to know that Kishi isn't going on hiatus for the rest of the year. That one had me going for a bit. It wasn't pretty. That's what I, golly, excuse me. Yeah, when I went there and I said, issue 1 next year, I guess we all did that. Like I mentioned in my review video, and that was his unintentional cliffhanger at the end. Oh, by the way, see you guys in a month and a half of no Naruto. Oh, but yeah, so that was pretty crazy. Always appreciate your comments, comment Bob 9. Janet Sorf. I think I'm going to have to keep drinking water. It's got a dry throat. I think Madara has done something. Naruto was running to him, yet I think I've already read this. This is like a repeat comment for some reason. And let's see. Dharma 79, Rampage. Madara is going to become Sasuke's sensei. I mean, he doesn't respect anybody else. Then there will be a time skip. Think Ronin Kenshin. That would be interesting. How about the whole thing of Sasuke jumps on Madara's side now? I mean, well, I guess that's what you're saying, actually. That he becomes a sensei, or he teams up with Madara. That would be pretty freaking interesting, wouldn't it? And we may get our fight a lot sooner than we expected. All right, excuse me. DT Ninja 831. Awesome chapter. It was long awaited for Kakashi's return, and I like how he was resolved to kill his friend. It gave us a hint that Naruto must do the same to Sasuke as ever to defeat him. It was also nice to see the shattered team reunited at Minato as Minato stops him, minus Rin. And I think this is a mistake leaving him alive. His mind is so twisted to the point where he doesn't trust anyone, especially someone who resembles his old self. He only trusts Rin, and after that day, he stopped living. Seriously, someone just kill him. He has no future, and Kakashi was right to finish him off. The fan base would have been happy. For him to go. But like I say, we'll see if he sacrifices himself, whatever. DT Ninja 831, awesome. Appreciate your comment. Armin Gregorian, why were last panels dark like that? I think there is some secret in that. And what if the footprints are Jiraiya's? But I have no idea how this can be. Well, people want Jiraiya to come back. That would be a big fan service thing that people would be forgivable of that if it was done in a halfway decent way. Appreciate your comment. KX Mixer X. I really like this chapter. Maybe it was the best motivation ever for someone to try and take over the world. Let me make sure. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not the best motivation ever for someone to try and take over the world. Messed that up, but I corrected it. There we go. But Obito's Rin obsession was much better explained and portrayed in this chapter than it ever has been in the past. In my opinion, at least, I also really like how Minato pointed out that it wasn't really Naruto's place to talk no Jutsu Obito. But what I liked even more than that was Naruto's realization that Minato was right. He leaves to take care of Madara immediately, essentially confirming that he's done all he can and that the Obito issue needs to be resolved between his dad, his sensei Kakashi, and it was just a really well done chapter for me personally. Out of all the positive points I've mentioned, though, Sasuke deserves the gold star of the week. Him dashing in immediately to try to end Obito's life is exactly what I wanted to see. Let's face it, at the end of the day, Obito is a mass murderer and a war criminal. He doesn't deserve forgiveness. He doesn't deserve mercy. And he certainly doesn't deserve to live. That all to me though. Great review, by the way. Take care. Appreciate it. Awesome. Awesome comment. Yeah. That's, everybody agrees. Sasuke did exactly what Sasuke's character should have done. And that's all we can really ask. So that turned out really well. Alright, Sean Riley. The way I see this, I believe there's going to be a lot of chapters leading up to Madara's sealing. I see it as prepare yourself for one huge brawl. Kishi having us as a yo-yo, chapters down bad, the chapters up good. All I'm saying is be prepared. Oh yeah, Steve, I made a prediction. What do you think? Remember Sasuke stated he wanted to be Hokage? Do you think Naruto versus Sasuke for the 6th Hokage title, similar to Madara versus the 1st? What do you mean, like an election? You mean how Madara lost out to the 1st Hokage because they had an election? Is that what you mean? Or I'm assuming you mean fighting over it, but they have elections in the village, so I don't know. I don't know how that's going to get handled. All right, really do appreciate your comment. Mr. Marcus, yes, about Rin. I felt like Kishimoto should have never brought her up if he wasn't planning on telling the full story of what really happened to her instead of these cliffhangers, and then there's still no real conclusion to her whatsoever. We are to assume she's dead because of what the manga has shown us, but knowing Kishimoto, there's more to it, and that's what's been told. And the most craziest thing about that is the character of Rin is she's an interesting character. I really want to know more about her, not just the relationship between her and Obito and Kakashi, more about her in depth. I'm in that boat. I wanted to know a lot more about Rin. I think some people are even with Rin fatigue, I want to see her. I want to understand. I would just to clear things up and like I say more. She looks like a very interesting character. And unfortunately, it's been dragged through the mud for this whole thing. All right. Appreciate your comments. Hey, Ishmael. Only explanation I can think of is that throughout the series, characters have talked about how messed up this world is. With everyone supporting Naruto's ideal of establishing peace, it makes sense that if the opponent is somehow redeemed, you don't kill him. The act is symbolic of how they are trying to change things. Also, Minato probably sees Kakashi Obito like Naruto Sasuke, so maybe he wants to tell his son that as a friend you have to keep trying to reach him. I could be completely wrong. You're probably right. I don't think it was that complex. All right, appreciate your comments, and like you say, the people are buying into Naruto's ideals, even though they're hard to keep, which is basically what you're saying. And of course, Obito, had those same ideals and lost them. And a couple more comments. Really do appreciate your comment, by the way. G. Gorsey, I just thought if Obito says that to hell I am losing anyway, why not just sacrifice myself for Madara and sacrifice himself in order to revive Madara? Would that be awesome? Yes, it would be awesome. It also would make it easier to kill him, since and that may be what has to happen, because sealing him, that's, you know, when he can just keep regenerating, and the guy's a friggin' genius, even with all the bijous against him and Hashirama and everything else. Yeah, I don't know. Finding and sealing away, that would be pretty pretty tough. But if he comes back to life, yeah, they'll be able to kill him. So I like that. That's a possibility. And of course, that would mean that Obito would die a villain. So that I could go with either way, depending on how it's handled. I could go either way. Final comment is Tyler Johnson. I think Madara's trump card might be Yamamoto. The Sage of the Six Paths subdued the Ten Tails with his own power. Perhaps if Madara found a way to completely fuse with Yamamoto and combine Uchiha and Senju at the power level, maybe he could truly be on par with the Six Paths. Remember, Obito didn't truly have the Six Path power because he ate Nine Tails. The Jubi wasn't complete. Alright, that's the final comment. I really do appreciate it there, Tyler Johnson. This has been another awesome Naruto viewer comments. Appreciate everyone's efforts. And remember, you can make big comments now. You can just keep typing. You can also put in links now into your comments, which you couldn't do before. Although I strongly suggest people really be very careful clicking into links. Although you probably, if you're using the internet a lot, you don't need to hear that because you've probably already been burned that way. That's how you get viruses and go to bad places. Sometimes you can have a good link, and then a site gets infected, and then there you are. But anyway, there I am, old man telling people, warning people. How you go figure. All right, fun again. I appreciate how everyone makes comments and helps to inform me and make me a better Naruto fan and enjoy this manga so much more. And let's enjoy it while it's still here. Who knows? Maybe he'll go, you know what? We still got another year or two. Time skip and come back and we'll do part 3. So who knows? Anybody can be an anime fan. You can always subscribe. You can always unsubscribe. You can do anything you want to. Until next time, take care.